On this episode of the podcast, I'm going to be sharing lessons from Daniel Kahneman, one of the greatest psychologists and behavioral economists of all time. He is awesome. I've read a bunch of his books. I love his work. Someone made this great thread on X about him. That's what I want to share. And I'm going to relate a bunch of these lessons to digital marketing or marketing, branding, and life. That's what I got for you. This is from Ole Lehman sharing Daniel Kahneman on X. And I'm just going to share the link to this thread in the description. Here it goes. I used to think I was rational. Then I read Daniel Kahneman's Nobel Prize-winning work on human decision-making. He routinely asks 8 questions to expose cognitive traps you fall into daily. Test yourself with these questions. It's the ultimate BS detector for your brain. 8 questions. Question 1. Am I thinking fast or slow? Kahneman's not impressed by your lightning-fast decisions. Why? Because your brain has 2 systems. Fast, intuitive, emotional, and conscious. Slow, analytical, logical, conscious. Guess which one Kahneman trusts for big decisions. Think about it. You're offered a new job. Exciting, right? Fast thinking says, take it, more money. Slow thinking asks, how does this align with my long-term goals? This question is your brake pedal in a world of snap judgments. When I talk about SEO, I use a term from the U.S. Special Forces. I got this term from the Terminalist series, which is a great book series, fiction, written by an ex-Navy SEAL. And in the series, he says, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When it comes to SEO, lots of people try to take shortcuts. And these attempts at taking shortcuts, building bad links, toxic links, doing spammy content, using tons of AI, these things end up hurting your site in the long run, sometimes even in the short run. And then it takes you more work to correct for them, and you would have been so much better off if you just played the long game. Everyone's looking for the shortcut, but the long cut is a lot more guaranteed. And so instead of trying to do all these shortcuts in marketing and SEO, instead of trying to do things like building bad links or following the types of strategies that are getting people hit with the helpful content update, think about what brand am I trying to build? What do I want this to be in 5 years? And then move from there. That's personally what I do. I'm playing the long game, so when it's not obvious, I stay away from the black hat techniques that can hurt my site. Same thing goes for social media. Same thing goes honestly for so many different marketing channels. Here's an example with social media. I see a lot of people trying to use AI to just spin up really bad videos. They're so bad, and they'll try this for months. It's the shortcut. And the videos, after 3 months, the videos look the same as they did on day 1. And these people would have just been way better off actually putting in the work to learn how to make good videos rather than using these AI tools to generate really bad videos for them because they believe in the dream that they can just write in a prompt. I think it's possible that in the future, these tools will be there, but they're definitely not there now. All right, anyway, question number 2. Am I too stressed to think clearly? Stress is kryptonite for your decision-making superpowers. This question is your stress detector. Why it matters. Stress narrows your focus. Hello, tunnel vision. It amplifies negative emotions. It makes you likely to take unnecessary risks. So before a big decision, check your stress levels. Heart racing, palm sweaty, mind spinning. Pause. This question is like a mental health check for your choices. It's the difference between a panic move and a power move. Stress, also exhaustion. I don't make big decisions in the evening. I've stopped doing that. I know people who do, and I don't do it. I think it's a really bad move to make big decisions when you're tired. I have just noticed my decision-making capabilities, they go way down in the evening. So I only do big things in the mornings and afternoons. Question 3, is this a reversible decision? Kahneman wants you to know your exit strategy before you even enter. This question is your decision flexibility test. Some choices are set in stone. Others are written in pencil. Knowing which is which changes everything. Buying a house, pretty irreversible. Trying a new hairstyle, totally reversible. This question helps you allocate the right amount of mental energy, take calculated risks, avoid decision paralysis. It's like having a safety net for your choices. Getting hit with the Google Helpful Content Update. From everything that I've read, pretty irreversible. Very few people have found a way to recover, and even the people who have had slight recoveries, these recoveries have paled in comparison to the organic traffic that they were getting a year or two ago. Pales in comparison. Things that are reversible, different white hat link building strategies. Or if you're doing social video, trying different formats for social video. Ooh, actually spamming AI videos, kind of irreversible. If you put out enough junk on Instagram and TikTok, eventually you're just going to start getting 0 views, and the algorithms aren't going to allocate you enough views for you to adequately have your content tested. It might take 30 to 200 views for social algorithms to know whether or not a video you make is good. But if you're spamming AI videos, eventually you're just going to get 0 to 10 views, and it's not going to be enough for you to test new content. Question 4, what would you think about this if it were someone else's decision? Oh, I love that one. This isn't just a thought experiment, it's a superpower. Here's why Kahneman loves this question. Our brains are wired with an inside view. We're too close to our own choices. But imagine your best friend facing the same dilemma. Suddenly, you're a genius of objectivity. For example, you're considering quitting your job to start a business. Now imagine your friend wants to do the same. You'd probably ask about their savings, market research, and backup plan. See the difference? This question turns your emotional decision into a logical analysis. It's like having a personal board of directors in your head. I use that all the time. I think about, what would this marketer think about the copy that I just wrote? Or what would this friend of mine think of this decision I'm about to make? Or this leader think about this decision I'm about to make? I am constantly, especially for big decisions, trying to distance myself from the decision and look at it from the perspective of somebody else. Marketing too, it's part of the reason I pay attention to lots of other big marketers. I see what they do, and then I'm able to analyze my moves through the lens of these marketers. Question 5, what would I think about this a year from now? Kahneman knows our brains are time-traveling fools. We overvalue the present and underestimate the future. This question is your time machine. Think about it. Remember that quote-unquote urgent work crisis from last year? Yeah, neither does anyone else. But that small investment you made, it's grown into something beautiful. This question helps you see the forest, not just the trees. It's your shield against short-term thinking and knee-jerk reactions. I just mentioned that. How do I want this to look a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Question 6. What would I advise a friend to do in this situation? Kahneman knows you're smarter than you think when it comes to other people's problems. This question taps into that hidden wisdom. Why? You're emotionally detached, you want the best for your friends, you see their blind spots. Imagine your friend is considering a major career change. What advice would you give? Now apply that sage wisdom to yourself. Boom, you just became your own advisor. The author of this, he already said that with question 4, but it's still a good lesson. It's okay to repeat it. Question 7, what's the quality of evidence? Kahneman doesn't trust your trustworthy sources. He wants you to put on your detective hat and investigate. Ask yourself, where did this information come from? Is it peer-reviewed or just someone's opinion? Are there conflicting studies or viewpoints? For example, you read a headline, coffee cures cancer. Before you start chugging espresso, dig deeper. Is it a single study or a meta-analysis? Who funded the research? What do other experts say? This question turns you from an information consumer into a critical thinker. It's your BS detector in a world of misinformation. The Wall Street Journal, a couple of months ago, they put out an article suggesting that Google is dying, Google search is dying. And then Ram Fishkin, the founder of Moz and a leader in SEO, analyzed this. He looked at all of the data and he's like, no, Google's market share is still around 90%. In fact, their paid advertising is up year over year. It's up in 2024 from 2023. More people are spending more money with Google now. Actually, people are even clicking more now on Google searches. Google search is getting more clicks. The Wall Street Journal article suggests that TikTok is taking huge market share away from Google. The data doesn't suggest that at all. The biggest competitor to Google is actually Amazon. It's Amazon search. And even then, it's a small percentage. It's a drop in the water of Google's total market share. So the Wall Street Journal made this article which claimed that Google was dying. It suggested it, but it suggested it in such a strong way that it seemed like a claim. Ram Fishkin looked at the data, analyzed it all, and found that that was not the case. That just wasn't the case. I actually shared all of this in podcast number 461, Is Google Losing Market Share? I shared all of that there. Finally, question 8, what are the opposing arguments? Kahneman knows your brain loves to play favorites. This question forces you to consider the other side. Why it matters, it challenges your assumptions, it prepares you for potential pitfalls. Try this. Before your next big decision, play devil's advocate. List all the reasons why it might be a terrible idea. You'll either strengthen your resolve or avoid a costly mistake. Win-win. Remember, your brain is trying to trick you. These questions are your secret weapon. Use them wisely. I like that last lesson a lot. You'll even hear me on this podcast saying something and then immediately after playing devil's advocate with it. It's so important to question assumptions or to question moves that you're about to make. Literally just looking at the cons for it. Actually, I talk about this sometimes. I have a list on my computer of just miscellaneous notes that I take throughout the day, and they're organized by the date. And I do this every single day. And for big decisions, I will list out the pros and cons. Sometimes I will go so deep that I will use Excel documents and put the pros and cons in different columns. I'll do that for marketing moves I'm about to make. I'll do that for copy. I'll do that for content or just any big decisions. Really useful for me to actually just go and list out so you can see it, the pros and cons. So this was 8 questions to expose cognitive traps you fall into every day. Thank you to Ole Lehman for writing it. Thank you to the late Daniel Kahneman for being awesome. I love his stuff. I would recommend one of his books, Thinking Fast and Slow. Really, really great book about cognitive biases. A lot of it relates to marketing. And that is episode 515 of my daily digital marketing podcast, The Edward Show. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, for listening. Remember, your brain is trying to trick you. Use these questions wisely, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.